Hello, this is Will here with another Bloodborne video. Today we're going to be going into Old Yharnam. There is have some strange loading screens. They have good advice. Jokes aside, I do suggest at the beginning of this section, once you're ready to go through the level, that you do just run. Just run. It's really hard to take this rather slowly, and that's what I intend to do. And I recommend any new player do as well. I will be taking some shortcuts here and there to make things a little easier on myself. I do unfortunately have some bad news. Well, bad news for me. I have officially tested positive for the coronavirus. I'm currently going to be in isolation for the next couple weeks. Currently I feel fine. I am asymptomatic so far. Here's hoping, although I am concerned because the past couple days I've felt somewhat off, but nothing that's on the listed website for symptoms on the regular. I have read that for most people it comes across rather mildly, but it can develop rather extremely. So I am concerned on that front. I'm sure you've noticed Dylan is not here. I really wanted him to be here for this to see the editing job I did on the episode. I did a little bit more of old school style here. Do recommend coming down here to get the hunter's torch. It's just a better version of the torch. A lot of the creatures in the area are going to be scared of torches. Hooded ones right there, I just illustrated, are not, because they're covering their faces, so the fire, for whatever reason, is just not as scary to them. And here we have the hunter's torch. It just does more damage than the normal torch. It's still not something I would main, but, you know, it is nice. A torch formed by wrapping a pine resin-drenched cloth around the end of a long stick, once used in Old Yharnam. Designed to incinerate beasts and victims touched by the scourge. Its fire damage is highly effective against beasts. There's another hint that beasts are weak to fire damage. If anybody's been following along, you'll know that at this point we have a +6 weapon, and we're pretty fairly strong. We're strong that we could pretty much go to any boss at this point, whether it be Amelia, Parl, or here. Although we can't unlock Parl just yet, we either have to kill Amelia or our friend Blood-Starved Beast down here to unlock that. And even if you do follow my playthrough, I still do recommend coming down and going after the Blood-Starved Beast. If it's your first playthrough, the chalice dungeons are by no means the best part of the game, but they are a good part. They're fun. For their time being, and if you want to min-max and have the best gems for your gear, you have to go into chalice dungeons. Through the DLC, we can get some pretty stellar gems once we get to the Orphan of Kos. But, and then towards the end of the main game, you can also get some pretty solid gems as well, and we do get one of those and use one in our playthrough because we get lucky while going for the Blood Rock. But yeah, so if you want to have the best, and I do in fact recommend going into chalice dungeons because it is something you should explore. Not something I'm really intending to do in this run. If I make some friends while doing this project and they'd be interested in co-oping with me into the chalice dungeons in more of a live LP format where we just go through them, I would be willing to go through them that way. I may talk about some bosses, you know, like we'll see. We'll see what happens at the end.
Hunter! Didn't you see the warning? Turn back at once. Old Yharnam, burned and abandoned by men, is now home only to beasts. They are of no harm to those alone. Turn back, or the hunter will face the hunt.
So that's Jura, and he's instructing to you that you don't need to be here. But really, we do, in fact, need to be here making sure we take care of the things. I do apologize. I need to stop. My computer, I forgot to do my power settings, so there's going to be a stop here for me, but you probably won't notice it. And I'm back. Yeah, silly thing. When I'm not video editing or something, I do use my computer to watch YouTube while I go to sleep. So I need to have it, in fact, go to sleep for me after a specific amount of time. So I think I was showing that off earlier, that in fact some of these creatures are in fact afraid of fire, and they do back off, and which is, you haven't really seen me strike too much with the torch, but the main appeal of it is to just force the aggro of the animals to animals. That's not really a nice thing to say about these guys, but to calm their aggro so they don't come at you as hard. They will still attack you through it sometimes, and that is going to be pretty. I think I got to chalk that up just to AI being tricky to program around. It's not super consistent, but it's enough of a deterrent to help you from getting swarmed. Now here's where I recommend you start running. Oh wow, I timed that well. I did that ahead of time, but
Adept. I forgot that blood, as the best hunters are.
there's a shortcut there. There's a shortcut there to the right, which I take every time now. Now, if you go up the stairs, he's going to have a shot at you, and you can just jump it. But if you're unlucky, well, you need to be lucky and get through here. Definitely sprint through here. There are some items in there, but it's not really worth it. Just sprint through there, get there, because you will die. Just get through it. Not even worth going to fight that guy. I think this is the first area where I don't really fight everything, just because of the deterrent that Jira is. And I think that was intended by FromSoft. They wanted you to rush through this area the first time you come through it. To set some sort of urgency with the player. I think that was their goal, and it definitely sets that tone. If you're the type of player who likes to cautiously look around and grab everything, such as me, that can be frustrating your first time through. But don't worry about it. Just run on through. You can kill Jura relatively easy. Although, to be honest, at this point in the game, there's really not much this area, item-wise, can do to benefit us. So, there's not really much point in looting the area, except over to the right here, where there's the other Saw Spear Hunter, besides us. We just saw him a little bit there. Oh, there he is. So, climbing this ladder, a couple of them will follow you. And then to the left we have Jura, who I'm going to be leaving alone. A lot of people will go up there, shoot him 3 or 4 times and knock him off, and then you're free to explore once you do that. I have found another way to, I like getting his dialogue, his friendly dialogue, first. So I prefer to do that route. So I just leave him alone. And I'll come back here later and explore the room next to the Saw Spear Hunter. And so here we have this room, and I swear, the first time I saw it, I thought there was going to be a boss fight here. Specifically hanging on that chandelier there. That room reeks of boss fight, and it might have originally intended to be one. You're just past the hunter there. Go ahead and hit that. That'll take care of a few ads. And for some reason, set everything on fire. And there are some items here. And this is where you can show off how good at platforming you are or are not, and learn. One of the things I dislike about Bloodborne that I think Dark Souls 2 did better is the jump system. And so Dark Souls Remastered has adopted it, where you can click the left stick to jump instead of sprint, and then let go and press the circle button again to trigger a jump. I, as someone with cerebral palsy, just find this incredibly difficult. And there's just a lot of disadvantages to it because you can't really pinpoint your actions very well. You can't, how do I put it? You can't aim very easily while jumping in this manner because you need to take your hand off of the right stick. So I definitely prefer the right stick jumping in the other Souls games to this. Never played the original Dark Souls, but I do understand that it also had that jumping system as well. Just not a fan. So here I'm going to try to get that item and show off how inaccurate I can jump. But I promise I'm good at this game. This can be a bad situation, especially if you don't, light the fire in the middle of the room. Luckily, the ads here don't really sprint at you. They're relatively passive, so you can get in an attack, back away, get in an attack. And by back away, I mean, just walk away from them. You don't need to engage them and back away. Engaging them and backing away actually plays into their moveset quite well. So just walk around them. They're quite slow. And they might hit you a couple times. They do have poison. The ones that have cloths on them do, in fact, have poison cloth. Or poison claws, so to speak. But, no boss fighting here. We're safe to go. Go us, I guess. I don't remember what I did specifically. Do I go back up here? Yes, I do. I do go back up here. And so I'm going to make the attempt to get that jump a few more times and just clear out the room all the way. Because I am one of those players that I do prefer to clear the level if possible, like we were discussing earlier with Jura. At this point we don't really need bloodstone shards for a main weapon, but if you are planning on maining a different weapon besides the one you're using now, you're definitely going to want that material. And it's not a bad idea to upgrade your gun so that you can at least put at least one gem in it, if not 3. And you don't really need to put damage into your gun or anything, but it's not a bad idea that anything that has regen, health regen, you can stack those and save a little bit on blood vials for yourself. And because we're so strong, these guys are kind of chump change. I actually find that quite satisfying to do the backstab trigger there, and what's the word I'm looking for? Not do the visceral attack. It's just like you're not even worth it type of attack. There is an item over here, and we're gonna grab that. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna stop the stream real quick, and I'm gonna get myself a drink. My throat is getting a little dry, and I want to take care of myself with recent events. So no time for you, a few seconds for me. Apologize, I'm back. My throat was getting a little dry there. So now we're going to try to make the jump I failed earlier. I found in my rust for this game the platforming to be the biggest enemy, maybe the second most difficult thing in the game for me to Lawrence, the first Vicar. So I'm going to give this a few tries. I'm not going to make you sit through every run back. There's going to be some editing magic that we'll see here. I thought about just cutting until I got it on the next try, but I feel like that's kind of dishonest to the original vision of my channel. I wanted to show failure. Originally with this channel, I wanted to play games on the hardest difficulty, showing people that it is possible to do these types of things, even if you have cerebral palsy. I think I just give up here. Yeah, I do. But I also have found that showing failure, or showing You know, like failing and failing and failing doesn't really make for good entertainment, so to speak. It's better in a montage format. So while that is more editing work for me, I've actually kind of found that since doing this project and having my much more beefy, computer that I have now versus when I was making videos on my little Skull laptop and it couldn't even handle it. So I kind of find some of the editing to be more fun, so to speak. I definitely enjoy some of the practices. Now, on this is a shortcut because we only have the one lantern here. So this is the shortcut to just go around that whole room of beasts if you die. Now, you can actually sit at attract the hunter over on the left there and attract him to come in and attack you while you're on the ladder and just fall to his death, which gives you pretty much free reign to go look at the area where the saw spear is. So if you are interested in acquiring the saw spear, that is where it is. You can go get it. I just don't find the saw spear to be fun. It's an effective weapon. First try. Maybe I can put some sort of dun-dun noise. I don't know. We'll see. Editing experiments. But anyway, yeah, you can totally cheese them, go get your saw spear, and you're good to go. At this point, I am defying gravity. I'm not really sure how to react to it. I was really hoping Dylan was going to be able to be here for this, but unfortunately, being in quarantine and being an audio snob that I am, and also just pure scheduling makes things difficult too. I decided to do this on my own. It's going to be easier to make more videos on my own. And I definitely want to be able to complete my first commentary with gameplay ever. Like I said, I've already done a first with this and recording it. This is the first time ever I will have completed a game. This is the first time I've recorded the whole game already, but I really want to actually accomplish the feat of uploading the entire run with my commentary and thoughts on the matter. So now we're getting to go into lower old Yharnam, I guess, where we have the scarier werewolf type enemies. They're not so scary with the +6 weapon. In fact, they're quite chump change. They're weaker than the hooded poison beast people things. I might need to actually throw up what those are called on the screen there, like I did in the previous episode. I've gotten a lot more adventurous with my editing the more I've been using DaVinci Resolve. It's a very good program. I'm considering going for the paid version if they have something reasonably priced, because I don't really make a lot of money right now with the whole situation that we are in with the pandemic in America. I initially lost my dream job, which I was absolutely loving and enjoying, and I've replaced that with a sales job, which is good enough for right now, and the pay is very, very good. It's just that unfortunately I'm part-time, so I can't really amass a full-time paycheck with it. And I don't really enjoy the work so much, so I'm looking for other work. I forgot where I was going with this, but anyway, yeah. So money's a little bit tighter for me right now. Going through the room where the werewolf pops out and going all the way to top will unlock the best shortcut for this level. Like we said, there's only the one lantern. And this is a pretty common theme in Bloodborne. But this is a really great way to design a level, in my opinion. that ladder will take us all the way back up to the lantern. And if you are holding almost 10k souls, I do in fact normally recommend going ahead and turning those in for levels or anything. I got a little bit cocky. Luckily, I got away with it this time. And you know, for good reason. When we fight the blood-starved beast coming up here, which I've decided to just include in the video, it's just not fair. He gets absolutely bullied and destroyed. If you thought the fight with the Witches of Hemwick was unfair, you're going to be disappointed by how unfair this fight is. It does not last very long. The blood-starved beast is weak to serrated, which our weapon is always doing a serrated, giving us a serrated bonus. He's weak to fire, so we're going to be using fire paper as well. And he's blood-starved in name, so the blood cocktail is very attractive to him. The effect similar to the Crystal Skull in the Dark Souls series. So instead of attacking us, we can throw it against the wall and he will give us his back, allowing us to do this to him, just to do an unseemly amount of damage. It's just not really fair. We do have a super wolf over here. He is strong and he will poison you if he gets you. It's a couple extra hits to kill. Still chump change though at this point because we're so strong. If this is your first time going through here though, you'll probably be fine. The Bloodstarved Beast is relatively easy. There's a few strategies to fighting him. The one I'm going to be showing here is my least favorite method. I prefer to do the dance backstab method, where you dance around him and go for a backstab, and you usually dance to the left. If we're going for the namesake of the character, he can in fact be countershot or parried, is what most people call it. And that is another way to easily defeat him. And then finally, if you are struggling, over to the right here, you can summon Alfred to use similarly to how we're using the blood cocktail here. NPCs in Bloodborne are really tanky, but they don't really do a lot of damage to bosses for you. And summoning does make the boss stronger in terms of health and defense, at least. And what they do for you though is they give you a moment to breathe, because they're very tanky, so you can back off from the fight, and hopefully the NPC will engage with the boss, and that'll give you a moment to heal, buff up, whatever you need. But it really puts you at a disadvantage in how much health it gives them. So my recommendation for the Blood-Starved Beast, if you're having a hard time, just I'm going to put a link in the video description of the Beyonce strategy, which is just dodge to his left. Once you get the timing down, you dodge to his left. Antidotes and Yodsefka's Blood Vial will be at the top here. So you don't really need to put antidotes in your hotbar. You certainly can if you want, but I feel like it puts clutter into my arsenal. So just use that. You can, of course, still use the strategy of the oil urns with the Molotov cocktails, although that is starting to become less beneficial for us because we haven't done any scaling into arcane. So it doesn't benefit us as much. So what I'm going to be equipping here is I've got the Pungent Blood Cocktail, I've got the Beast Blood Pellets, and I've got Fire Paper. And with that combo, we're just going to end him. It's really not a fair fight, and you'll see what I mean. So this is the speedrunning strategy, and oftentimes when I find I'm struggling with a boss in a game like this, I'll look up a speedrunning strategy for how to get through it. So we've already taken a quarter off of his health. Oh, and now we're down. Clear that there. And he just doesn't get a chance to even react to us. We do so much damage to him. he's dead. That's why he doesn't get his own video, because the fight just ends so quickly. So if you are struggling with the blood-starved beast, do know that you can still farm up 10k souls, or echoes, sorry, and then go through the other areas, get yourself a +10 weapon, and be ready for him. Anyway, this has been my adventure through Old Yharnam. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you could please support me, give me some criticism on how I can make the videos better. I'd really appreciate it. And you stay safe and have a wonderful day.